Ah, perfect. Perfect. Welcome back, Annalise. And Samuel as well. Great. So we are back, bang on 8:45, and in during the recess, I noticed we've got a new guest. So Harren, I'd just like to welcome you as our second guest on Lewisham Speakers Online Speaking. So welcome, Harren.
Welcome.
Excellent. Right. So we are now moving into table topics, and table topics is a great part of the program, and we have an amazing speaker who's going to be introducing table topics this evening. He's one of our newer members. We call them the Fab 15 because we've had 15 new members in our current season that are really amazing people. And David Rawlins is one of those fab people. One minute you see him without a hat, next minute he's got a hat on. That's the kind of creativity that this guy brings. He's got dynamics. He's really entertaining. And unlike many other accountants that I know, he's a really interesting one. But I'd like to welcome, that's a private joke. I'd like to welcome David Rawlins, our topic master for the day. Welcome, David.
Thank you, everyone. So you may have noticed I'm wearing a hat, and I also have another adjustment to make. Just give me one more second. It's my official Quizmaster hosting jacket. I've only done it once, but I thought if I'm hosting table topics, I might as well go the whole hog and wear a jacket I've only used once and bought off eBay for about £30 when I was drunk. So so here we go for another outing of the Quizmaster jacket. So that's right, I'm doing table topics tonight, and I used to hate these. I used to fear them. As soon as I even heard about them, I just almost wanted to run away immediately. And the first time I was asked to do one of these, I didn't do it. But then the second time I put my hand up, I got involved, and I've actually learned to quite enjoy them. I love the adrenaline and the unknown, but also kind of, there's no pressure because you don't know what's coming anyway. You know, there's literally nothing you can prepare for, so you just got to go with it, roll with it, and give it a go. So that's what I kind of enjoy now. I think it's like the fight or flight. I'm kind of enjoying the potential fight and not flying. So table topics. So you have between 1 to 2 minutes to answer a question that I have set, one of 7 that some of you have volunteered for, or most of you have volunteered for. I have got one that I'm not sure if they did, but anyway, it's coming if you like it or not. You've got 1 to 2 minutes, and the theme I tried to include was spring means beginnings. So slightly varied approach on that, and not quite a consistent set of questions in some respects, but in many respects it does relate to this theme. So my first question is, what is your first sign spring has sprung? And that's for Samuel. And Samuel, the question again is, what is your first sign spring has sprung?
Muted.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you. I was just saying I do like the jacket. You need to wear it again.
Thank you.
My first sign that spring has sprung. I guess as I alluded to in the warm-up, will be the longer days. I do loads of sports, mainly outdoor sports, tennis, running, cycling. And so when there's longer days, it's hopefully warmer days as well. So it's being outside more, exercising more. Other than that, yes, I did plant some daffodil bulbs. I don't even know when, years ago, right? And so bang, spring, and there they are, without me doing any work. They're actually outside my front door. So it's the perennial decoration of my outside front door, which says, bang, look, spring's here. So that as well, which is good because it happens without me doing any work at all, because I planted them a few years back. I wasn't actually looking at my clock, so I don't know how long I've spoken for, but I've run out of things to say. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you indeed for that. So we have our next question, which again, you may spot the theme here, you may not, but it's nice and short and sweet, this one. And the question is, Bruce Springsteen or Jerry Springer? And that goes to Richard. So Richard, that again is Bruce Springsteen or Jerry Springer?
Wow, what a brilliant question, David. This, I'm going to answer it very, very swiftly because I am I'm a rock star in the making. And Bruce Springsteen, every single time. Jerry Springer is a chat show host, and for me, I would love to be on stage strumming my guitar with the adulation of 100,000 people all rocking to my music. I'm 62 years old, and I've just recently, in the last 3 weeks, taken up a lifelong a desire that I wanted to do, which was playing the guitar. Now, also, I've always been able to string a few notes together singing wise, so I put the two together because I feel that the rock star in me is ready to come out. It's just dying to come out. And Toastmasters has been a huge part of this, because I would never be able to get up and sing and play the guitar. Well, I can't do it yet, but I know it's coming. Give it another 2 or 3 years down the line when I've got to grips with it all. But yeah, it's a super hobby. It's just a super thing that I'd love to do. You're gonna see me in London Bridge Station or one of the undergrounds. I'll be strumming away, trying to make it in the rock industry. Because if you just look at all of the people that the rock star lifestyle, I love it. The long hair, the drink. We won't go any further than that, but all of those things are I just love it. And I think in another life, that is going to be me, the rock star, because I love the music, I love the instruments. So, in answer to that brilliant question that you put to me, over Jerry Springer every single time, the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Richard. A very thorough answer there. And I'm just really pleased that we're going to be, we are here at the embryonic stage of your future music career. Whether it be, a dirty corner of London Bridge or Glastonbury, we will be there every step of the way with you. So great answer there. Now, my third question is a little bit more, back to the norm, for now at least. And that is, what is your most life-changing moment? And that question is for Mr. Mark Wood. Mark Wood, what is your most life-changing moment?
I was hoping by unmuting the button, it would have given me a little bit more time to think about this, and it has, but whether that's given me opportunity to answer. Okay, I'm going to say, I'm going to be boring, which goes against the dazzling Dave and his jacket, is probably something which has happened in the last few months, which is the unspoken C word, which we'll get away from. It kind of, I think it's more so maybe not the biggest thing, but it's something that kind of, I think, makes us reevaluate sort of what's important, sort of toilet roll aside, and hand sanitizer aside to a certain extent, in terms of thinking it could be a game changer. It could be it kind of goes to show you that kind of one of my friends said 20 years ago when I was stressing for an exam, he said, at least you've got your health. And for some reason that really stuck with me, because it kind of popped into mind every now and again when it's kind of, if I've ever been really sick or anything like that. So that's kind of been something. It's kind of the value of kind of being able to kind of see people. I know Julie's mentioned about seeing her son, and even I've had to cancel going to see my parents and things like that. So yeah, but I think overall that's it. But I think there's also positives that could come out of this. We could just think, okay, us doing our first online meeting could be quite good, and also it's yeah, there's other things as well. More agile working could be a thing of the future as well. And also, it could make us actually really appreciate the time that we can spend, in person together, within 2 meters. So yeah, I'll be boring and say the thing right now. So passing you back.
Great, thank you very much, Mark. Very topical, very thought-provoking there. So really enjoyed that answer. Thank you very much. Now we move on to our next question, which is another short and sweet one. And it's another almost multiple choice element to this one. So it's New Zealand, New York, or New Malden. And that goes to Mr. Mark Harris. And that is New Zealand, New York, or New Malden.
Well, thank you. Well, New Zealand, New York, or New Malden? Out of all those places in the world, I would say for me, it'd have to be New Zealand. And the reason why is because there's a weird story what happened to me. Something really weird happened to me a couple of years back. One day I was at home, my son had went to Taekwondo, and he injured his leg. And he said that, he thinks he sprained his ankle. So anyway, I took him down to Lewisham Hospital. And it was early in the morning before school, got in there, and the place was deserted. There was nobody there. Walked in, and because he's a child, he gets seen straight away. So we're just sitting there, just talking and having a chat and a laugh and a joke. And it was like a really eerie feeling. There was no one there. Nurse came out and said, look, what we'll do is we'll check him for, see if he's broken his leg or, if he's done anything to his ankle. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, appeared this lady. And this lady started to speak. And she said, what is it that you do? And I said, oh, I work with people and, I have conversations with people. And she just looked at me and she goes, you need to go to New Zealand. And my son looked at me and I looked at him and was like, and she was like, no, you're really actually needed in New Zealand and you'll find yourself there. You need to go. That's the place for you to be. And the really weird thing about that was that other nurses came into the room and it was like no one could see this other nurse, only me and my son. So it was like, I was so confused and I was like, how comes everybody's talking to us, but they're not communicating with this woman? And since then, I thought to myself, do you know what? I know my time is up. Well, not that my time is up now. Well, I know my time's up now. But I mean, it was just so weird. And my son even said to me afterwards, he turned to me and he said to me, Daddy, wasn't that crazy how that woman came out from nowhere and said that you need to be in New Zealand, you need to go. So for me, I believe in messages. I don't know how they come. So out of all of those three places, New York, New Malden, or New Zealand, it has to be New Zealand for me. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And that's true. That's true.
It's almost like I was maybe just as a woman lurking in Lewisham Hospital, potentially. But I don't remember doing that myself. Anyway.
But it was a female nurse.
Yeah, I mean, I've got many talents. Anyway, super answer. And that's our fifth. We've got two more questions, I believe. Actually, three more. That was the fourth. And the next question is a bit of a longer one. And it is, if you had to move to a new town or city anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? And that is for Nadine. And Nadine, your question is, if you had to move to a new town or city anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Okay. If I had to move to a new town or city anywhere in the world, where would I go? I think at the moment I would go to San Francisco. So I'm like a creative, so I work in the tech world, and San Francisco is like the hub of where all the companies in the tech world are. And I think just going there, I've always had this image of me and my friend, we're always like, okay, when we like have enough money, we're going to go to San Francisco. And I think that it's just a hot, you've got beaches, you've got city, so it's like a mix of the two. And I think it's just a place which is very up and coming. And when I used to work at my old company, they always used to send people over to San Francisco to work, and everyone always used to come back and say they had the best time and it was amazing. So I feel like, yeah, if I had to go somewhere, it would be San Francisco.
Okay, great answer. Right, now we have two left, and the next question is slightly more, what's the word, philosophical. And the next question is, begin as you mean to go on, yes or no? And that question is for Annika. Annika, the question again is, begin as you mean to go on, yes or no?
I would say begin as you mean to go on, yes. Because once you start something, you need to carry on the way you started. If you start something and you are positive, you need to carry on being positive. So once you do one thing, the way you do one thing is the way you do another thing. So beginning something, start positive and carry on being positive. I prefer being positive and I don't look back. Once I carry on doing something, I'm positive and keep going. And in my philosophy, I rather said I did this than regret I didn't do it. So I do something, carry on, keep on going till I got to where I want to go. Thank you.
Great, fabulous answer. And you know, touching on what Mark said there, is really, especially at the moment where people are trying new things, it's a great opportunity to continue with those behaviours and hopefully, you know, master a few. So that brings us to our final question this evening, and our final table topic is: if you had to begin a new career tomorrow, what would it be and why? And the person I'm going to allocate that to is Fernando. So Fernando, if you had to begin a new career tomorrow, you might not have to be able to go into work, you might have to do it via online web chat. What would it be and why? Fernando.
Hi Dave, it's a brilliant question. It's something I always ask to myself, because I believe, like, if I'm going to start a new career today, I will choose between to be a solicitor or to be a doctor, because I believe the two professionals, they helping people on the worst time of their lives. I believe, like, if you are a doctor, you are there to save lives, and you become like all the knowledge you studying or over the years is going to be very helpful to change people's lives. And the way, if you are a solicitor, it's very important as well, because I believe we are human beings. When you are a human being, we are able to make mistakes. I work now in HMCTS now. I have the opportunity to see criminals, and what I can see on them, they are like us. They are people like us, but the only difference, most of them, they cannot control their mind. They cannot control their behavior. And because of that, they do more mistakes than us. Because of that, I believe when you are a solicitor, you can help these people to start a new life, to have a new beginning. Because of that, if I can choose a new profession, if I can start again my life, I believe I will be studying to one of these professions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Fernando. Very insightful response there, and something you've actually previously given some consideration to. So that's again, brilliant answer there. So that, I believe, wraps it up. I haven't done this before, so I think that's how it works. I think that's now me passing the baton on back to the Sergeant at Arms, Richard Sullivan.
Thank you very much, David. Let's just give David another silent round of applause. It is always good when someone steps up to the plate and does their first at anything. One of the things that Lewisham Speakers, we embrace the fact that we think any member could do any role. So David, well done. Love the hat, the jacket. You could get a bit more money for that if you resell it on eBay, because I could see some eager eyes there thinking, oh, I could do all right in that. So, but yeah, thank you. It definitely made a difference online wearing that jacket. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Topic Master, please can you give us a report on the times for our 7 speakers, I think it was. Yep.
Thank you very much. So, Sam spoke for 1 minute and 23. Rich spoke for 2 minutes and 4. Mark Wood spoke for 2 minutes and 5. Mark Harris spoke for 2 minutes and 42. Nadine spoke for 1 minute and 5. Tony spoke for 1 minute and 10. And Fernando spoke for 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And it is really good to see that everyone broke the 1 minute barrier. We always say 1 minute is the absolute minimum if you're going to do an absolute minimum. So well done to all the speakers. Phil, just checking, you are still the topics evaluator? Yep, great stuff. So we are now going to have, in fact, Phil, let me say, I'll step in as the timekeeper for you, as you're currently timekeeper as well. So, and before I introduce you, let me just show you my green, amber, and red. So the green is my green pear. You can see that, Phil? Yep. Amber, obviously, lovely yellow banana. And red is going to be a juicy garlic apple. Okay, so you're okay with that, Phil? Great stuff. So our next speaker is the topics evaluator, and it's our president. He's an amazing guy. He's energetic. He's enigmatic, and he's just everything that we could want as a president. So welcome, Phil Reynolds.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. So Sam was asked, what was your first sign that spring had sprung? I really like Sam's speech. Sam has such a kind of lovely, relaxed kind of delivery. He told us a little story. He told us about how he likes to plant daffodil bulbs, which I thought was really nice. My recommendation to Sam was that it's difficult to see on the little display. He looked a little kind of hunched over. So my recommendation to Sam is perhaps to find a way to make more use of the space. He could have kind of come out here and gestured a bit more and done kind of digging motions and things. But I thought it was a really lovely story. Rich was asked Bruce Springsteen or Jerry Springer. Rich answered the question really directly. He said, "Oh, absolutely, Bruce Springsteen." What I really liked about Rich was that he came out a little bit further, and so he had his hands here, and he's doing this, he's doing this. So I thought that was really good. He had an absolutely lovely little conclusion as well. He brought in, he was talking to us earlier about his guitar, and he was giving us a little solo in the break. So it was really, I thought it was very. The whole point of Table Topics is to kind of think on your feet. It was a really clever way to kind of bring in things we've been talking about this evening. So I thought that was a really, really strong table topic. Mark Wood was asked, what's your most life-changing moment? And he chose something very contemporary, and he told a story, which is always really powerful. What I particularly liked about Mark's table topic is the kind of the humour and the dark humour. We're all in a very uncertain time, and we're all a little bit nervous. But kind of toilet roll aside, I thought it was a nice little dry bit of humour. I thought it was really good. I thought it ended on a really profound note. I thought that was really nice. My recommendation to Mark is he because of the way he's using his headphones, he had to speak into his headset mic, so that stopped him being able to kind of gesture and gesticulate as he might have done. Mark Harris was asked New Zealand, New York, or New Malden. Mark is a really engaging speaker, and I always really enjoy everything he says in Toastmasters or anywhere else. And he has such a great voice. He has such a great tone. You really feel he drew every bit of that story out, didn't he? The place was deserted, he said, and he had that lovely emphasis and that really nice pause. He had a really nice conclusion. And my only recommendation to Mark was to perhaps keep to time because he was knocking on the very end of he nearly got muted, but he didn't, which is good. Nadine was asked if you had to move to a new town or city anywhere in the world, where and why. Nadine did a really clever technique to buy herself a little time. She repeated the question. She had a really clear answer. She talked about San Francisco. She talked about the beaches. My only recommendation to Nadine is perhaps to speak for a little longer. If she told a story, she started talking about her career and how it might take her there, but perhaps there was more that she could have kind of mined from that to tell a bit of a longer story. Tony was asked, beginners, you mean to go on, yes or no? He said yes, and again, Tony has great use of his hands as well. We really felt he was doing this, and he used the hands to talk about beginning, middle, and end, which I thought was really good. My recommendation to Tony again would be to see if he talked about it being his personal philosophy, but is there a way for him to give an example of when he'd start as he meant to go on, or where something had perhaps not gone as well as he might have liked, where actually his kind of dedication, his tenacity had helped him through, and that might have enabled him to speak for a little bit longer. And finally, Fernando was asked, if you had to begin a new career tomorrow, what would you do and why? He said, again, a really clear answer, solicitor or doctor, and he talked about the kind of profundity of that and how they're saving lives. My only recommendation to Fernando is his voice. He's got a really lovely, kind of deep, powerful voice, and I think that's a real asset. But, perhaps as Fernando becomes a more confident speaker, he could think about perhaps varying the tone of it a bit, kind of going quieter to draw people in. When talking about saving lives, he could make his voice a little quieter, and saving lives to really emphasize the point and bring out a bit more emotion from it. But I thought everybody did absolutely fantastically, particularly as we have people who are new speakers. So congratulations, everybody.
Thank you very much, Phil. I didn't get a chance to flash my red gala apple, so you did really well to get all those 7 evaluations within the time frame. So next up, we have a lady who's going to do a dual role. She's going to be grammarian stroke general evaluator. Now, Julie Kertesz, the first word comes to mind is amazing. Julie, as we know, she's our senior player at this game, and she still brings it more than people much younger than her. I admire Julie. Julie's a mentor of mine. I will ask Julie questions about speeches I give, evaluations I give, and I know I'm going to get really good feedback. So Julie's going to come. She's going to give us some grammarian and some general evaluators. So please welcome the amazing Julie Kertesz.
So first, let me begin like grammarian. Like grammarian, I try to listen. Who will tell and ah? No one. No one. I did not hear one. What I did hear is some nice phrases, like Richard. The guitarist want to come out of me. Everyone laughed. It worked. Mark Harris. I know my time is up. We didn't know what it is about. The time is up. It was ambivalent, and that was funny also. Not only sad, but funny. And Mark Wood was almost the only one, perhaps Donovan once, from whom I heard online. It is easy to tell online, but I didn't hear. Now, let me begin like general evaluator. We begin the meeting on time, but most of you arrive late. In a meeting, we arrive online even more, half an hour before. Not 10 minutes before, not 15 minutes before, but half an hour. in order to have time to settle the computer if it doesn't work, the sound if it doesn't work, and of course the role who are not given to anyone, which you have to fill. So let's come early instead of having 15 minutes in the middle where we could do not mix together. Let's come earlier and stay later. That would be better in my opinion. We had a wonderful Toastmaster of the meeting who knew what we have, what we don't have, what roles have to be filled, and he filled very fast the roles. So everything but the general evaluator who was given to me last minute. But I loved even that. We had a wonderful timekeeper, really modest. He was there, gave us the time, but didn't stand in the face of us. And then we had Donovan also, a very short time timekeeper. He had fruits, funny. You can do a lot of different things online, which are a lot of fun, which we don't do usually when we meet face to face. We had a wonderful table topic master with a hat and a fancy blue coat and question that made everyone answer something personal, funny. From I never heard so much laughter or long time that we had seen of everyone's face while people were answering to Dave's rolling question. So very well done. The only thing I would like to tell you, and you will see it recording, when you stood up, you balanced like this. That perhaps you do it in real life also, I don't know. But on the screen you see it even more. So, and Richard, when you make like this with your hands, it stands really out. So better to do hand gestures horizontal on screen than like this. I know that you like to go on the face very near people, and it works sometimes, but it works a lot less well. Playing guitar worked better because it was not too near us. Evaluation were both on the top. I liked both evaluation and I liked what both evaluators said. Patricia and Fernando could have given, of course, a lot more about themselves. But they will learn this time that more we speak about ourselves, like in table topics, more the audience loves us and enjoys and remembers. Because remembering who famous someone, what did or told, we hear it, but we don't really remember. I don't. But if you tell something about yourself, we can remember years and years and years later. So instead of trying to make rich, tell about yourself. That is my advice. I am very happy that Mihaela and Tony was able to sit down and have a computer like they wanted and found out for themselves what to do. So wonderful. So it is normal at the beginning to have problems. I think it was not normal that we didn't have more problems, all of us here. And I am here even in the end. Deborah and Peter arrived, and I hope that after the meeting a little bit we will be able to ask to speak Annelies and everyone who didn't speak. My ambition when I am online is to have no one who doesn't speak, even if a little bit, but let us do it. Donovan.
Thank you, Julie, for both the grammarian and the GE evaluation. Really, really amazing. As I say, when Julie is a very experienced speaker, and she always shares some stuff with us. What I would do when you get an evaluation line, I think, what is maybe one thing that I personally could do different next time? So there was a lot of information there. So maybe everyone thinking, what's the one thing that I could take away from Julie? And that was really, really good. So my job as Toastmaster for today is pretty much up. We started off in the beginning with our topic, which was to go for it. Spring means beginnings. And this is a beginning for Lewisham speakers going online. I think that we really went for it today. We had entertainment, we had energy, and we just had really great engagement. So give yourselves a hand, everybody. I think we did really good. And I now pass back over to our super duper president, Phil Reynolds. Phil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, and to all of you for coming out and bearing with us as Julie said, as we all struggled a bit with the internet and computers and microphones and things. So yeah, I think we've had a few growing pains, but I've had a lot of fun, and I hope you have as well. As Mark says, we are due for renewal. So if you haven't yet paid your memberships for the next 6 to 12 months, then do please get in touch with Mark. Because obviously, we'll still be here and you're still welcome to come, but you're not able to. If you don't renew your membership, you won't be able to access pathways. You won't be able to keep speaking. You won't be able to take roles, and that would be a real shame. We had our area. We had a couple of us were at the area contest on Saturday, just gone. Nadine and Donovan talked a bit about it. Donovan and Nadine were our champions. You might remember from the last meeting. They both did an absolutely fantastic job in Beckenham. Unfortunately, they didn't go through to the next round, but they did an absolutely amazing job. And Nadine was give her a round of applause, everybody. Nadine was being very modest. She did an absolutely amazing job, and she was up against some really other really fantastic evaluators. So yeah, they both did their club proud, and it was really lovely to see them there. And we've had some guests this evening, some virtual guests. So I'd love to just hear you just go to each and just hear your thoughts on the meeting, and maybe I think for some of you guys it might have been your first experience of an online meeting as well. So Annelies, any thoughts and reflections from tonight?
Hello everybody. Hello again. For me, it was very interesting because I have attended online meetings before, but with people that I know, because I feel I know you a little bit. I saw some of you on Saturday. I can really see that even with an online meeting, the personality shows. I can recognize clearly Richard or Donovan, Phil, Nadine. So Deborah, who joined was playing with their oud earlier. It's quite interesting. As I say, on Saturday, we experienced an online meeting with Experience French on Monday morning. We did actually an hybrid one. So we had people online with Zoom and some people in the room. It works very well, so it was interesting to try out. But the next one will be fully online, and I picked up some ideas of particular things to see before the meeting. Yes. So thank you very much for having me.